Mass gainer, is it actually worth it? It really depends on what your goals are. If your goal is to gain weight, then yes, it can be worth it. But if your goal is to build muscle or burn fat, then no, it's probably not worth it. Mass gainer is a supplement that's designed to help you gain weight, especially for people who are struggling to gain weight. It typically contains a powder that you mix with milk or water, and it comes in different flavors. And as I mentioned, it can be helpful if you're struggling to gain weight because it provides a way to consume more calories in a convenient and easy-to-digest form. Mass gainers usually contain a combination of protein, carbohydrates, and fats, which are all sources of calories. They typically contain around 200 to 400 grams of carbs per serving, which is a lot. And this is what makes them effective for gaining weight because you're consuming a lot of calories in a relatively small amount of servings. However, the effectiveness of mass gainer for gaining weight will vary depending on many factors, including your diet and exercise plan. It's important to remember that you can't outgain a shit diet. So even if you're taking mass gainer, it's still important to eat a healthy diet and lift weights in order to see results. So let's talk about when it's actually worth it to use mass gainer. Like I said, mass gainer can be a good option for people who are struggling to gain weight. This can include people who have a fast metabolism or people who are very active and burn a lot of calories throughout the day. People who struggle to gain weight often have a hard time doing so because they don't want to eat more frequently than they already do, or they don't want to eat large meals, or they just don't feel hungry enough to eat a lot. This is where mass gainer can be helpful because you can consume a lot of calories in a relatively small amount of servings. Some people might only need 1 or 2 servings per day to reach their calorie goals, while others may need 4 or more. Now, some people also use mass gainers to help them bulk up during the off-season or when they're trying to gain weight for a specific event or competition. Bulking up during the off-season can help athletes who play sports that require a lot of body mass, such as football or rugby. It can also help wrestlers or mixed martial artists who need to make weight, but then put on as much mass as possible once they reach their weight class. Now, this doesn't really apply to most people, but it could be worth it if you're an athlete and your sport requires a higher body weight. However, it's important to note that mass gainers aren't just for athletes. Anyone who struggles to gain weight can benefit from using one. For example, if you're skinny and you've always wanted to be a little bit bigger but you find it difficult to put on mass, a mass gainer could be a good option for you. Using a mass gainer could allow you to eat more calories without having to eat as frequently, which can be beneficial for those who are busy and don't have time to prepare and eat multiple meals throughout the day. But now, let's talk about when mass gainer is not worth it. If your goal is to burn fat or build muscle, then a mass gainer is probably not worth it. This is because mass gainers are typically high in calories, carbs, and fats, which can make it difficult to stay in a calorie deficit or to keep your carbs and fats low. If your goal is to lose weight or burn fat, then you'll want to consume fewer calories and prioritize lean protein sources and low glycemic index carbs. In this case, a mass gainer will likely just cause you to gain fat rather than burn it. So if your goal is to lose weight or burn fat, then it's best to skip the mass gainer and focus on a healthy diet and exercise plan instead. The same goes for building muscle. If your goal is to build muscle, then you'll want to consume enough protein to support muscle growth, but you won't necessarily need the extra carbs and fats that are typically found in mass gainers. In fact, consuming too many carbs and fats can actually hinder muscle growth by diverting energy away from muscle tissue and towards fat storage. So is mass gainer worth it? Well, that depends on your individual goals and circumstances. If you're struggling to gain weight, then it can definitely be worth it. But if your goal is to burn fat or build muscle, then it's probably not worth it. As always, it's important to speak with a healthcare professional or a registered dietitian before adding any new supplements to your diet. They can help you determine whether mass gainer is right for you and can also help you develop a healthy diet and exercise plan to meet your individual goals. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I want to remind you that I'm not a doctor or a registered dietitian. The information provided in this video is for educational purposes only and should not be considered medical advice. With that being said, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please leave me a like and comment down below.